Welcome to Season 4 of E-commerce Fastlane. This podcast helps resilient entrepreneurs thrive with Shopify. And now on to episode 165.
You're listening to E-commerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Vicely. Do you want to maximize the value of each visit to your store, both for the business and for the site visitor? Of course you do. Then look no further than Vicely, a flexible personalization and search solution for your Shopify business. Hundreds of Shopify merchants at every stage of their business lifecycle trust Vicely, from businesses that are just starting out to established brands with 9 figures in annual sales. With Vicely, you will build a tailored user experience by adding personalized product touchpoints at every stage of the visitor journey on your Shopify store. Vicely's enterprise-grade tools like one-on-one, real-time personalization, A/B testing, predictive search, dynamic filters, and merchandising will ensure that your store visitors see the right products at the right time, which will boost critical metrics such as average order value and conversion rate. With Vicely's post-purchase and email recommendations, you will also drive repeat visits and sales by turning one-time buyers into repeat customers, which increases your lifetime value and your brand loyalty all in the same process. You can also get access to Vicely's best-in-class white glove support and customization services. Use their pre-built and custom widgets, search results, collection filters, and pages. Everything works together as far as building your brand experience perfectly. And all of this with blazingly fast response times too. So don't leave revenue on the table and don't waste the opportunity to convert visitors into loyal customers. Start today and find out how much Vicely will benefit your Shopify business. Head on over to vicely.io or search for Vicely in the Shopify App Store to begin your 14-day free trial. No credit card required. Well, hey there, it's Steve, and welcome back to the E-commerce Fastlane podcast. Now, if this is your first time listening, this is an e-commerce show where we have honest and transparent conversations about building and thriving with your store powered by Shopify or Shopify Plus. If you're an ambitious, lifelong learner, you're definitely in the right place today. New episodes are available twice weekly with your favorite podcast players like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and many more. You can also stream current episodes, including a very relevant back catalog. I mean, there's like 160 some episodes there. You can stream them directly from ecommercefastlane.com. In today's episode, my guest is Bob Bram, who's the CEO of a company called famous.co, and they're a mobile e-commerce experience platform. And what they do is they help Shopify merchants to create high-impact mobile shopping experiences. And they also build premium landing pages, but all really quickly. It's very unique. I just can't wait to send you the links. For those listening today, you will not believe the quality and just the animation that's built into it, all without the need of any design or technical skills, which is the greatest part. Bob himself, I'm sure he'll tell his story better than me hacking it up here, but he does have 25 years of experience in building and growing enterprises, both in startups and global brands. He's worked at some amazing companies too, HP, Oracle, Silicon Graphics. I mean, the list goes on. And now with this experience, this extensive experience in all areas of both business and sales and marketing functions, he has a new goal, and that's why he's on the show today. He wants to grow and scale his next brand, like I mentioned, famous.co. He really wants to empower Shopify brands to leverage great design, to stand out, increase customer engagement, and at the end of the day, just drive more revenue. So excited to have Bob here today. So welcome to E-commerce Fastlane.
Steve, thank you very much. I've actually listened to your podcast a few times before. It's very well done, so I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure. That's the goal here is to find, some app or technology partners, platform partners that connect to Shopify. And it really is to kind of share that opportunity out into the wild. I mean, there's 10,000 or more people listening to this episode right now and thinking, hey, is this the next piece of technology that could leverage or differentiate myself to my competition through landing pages or just through a better overall mobile experience? And I know we're going to dig into a lot of stats and things around mobile and the mobile consumer. Even with getting out of this pandemic right now, mobile is still where it's at today. So let's talk on the high level first. I hopefully didn't butcher it at the top of the show, but on a high level, what does the Famous platform do and the problems that you're aiming to solve now for Shopify brands?
Let me talk about the state of the industry and the problems and then what we do specifically. So until recently, I've noticed that Shopify merchants were focused on what we call the back-end functions, such as payment, shipping, campaign management, things like that. But you guys in Shopify have done such a great job building your brand. In 2021, merchants are seeing the number of Shopify sellers grow faster than you guys even predicted. I read recently over 1.7 million. And these merchants are concerned now about the number of players in the play and how they differentiate versus their competition. The prevailing technology used today are common landing page builders. They're still pretty flat, pretty vanilla output. They're just an easier way to build basic storefronts. So what Famous is looking to do, Steve, is solve that problem by helping brands and merchants create customized, high-impact, visual, mobile shopping experiences on the fly. As you said, no technical design expertise required. So Let me tell you how it works. Merchants can choose from a number of drag-and-drop templates and easily design their pages with Famous high-quality images, videos, and animations. Animations either a finger swipe or an automated transition. No code needed, just design and hit publish. Our customers are telling us that they see a sales increase of an incredible 35% for products they promote on Famous on Shopify.
That is insane. Hence the reasons why I'm having you on the show today. I think it's difficult sometimes in a podcast to talk about what exactly you're getting. I'm going to recommend, definitely by the end of this show, once we hear the story behind the technology behind it all and what we're doing, that is an amazing lift at 35%. I've seen and watched a lot of the videos and stuff, even on the famous.co website, and it really is very unique and impressive. And what an opportunity today to differentiate yourself. As you said, there are 1.7 million and growing number of direct-to-consumer brands on Shopify. I don't believe that number's slowing down. I think entrepreneurship is a very hot thing. I believe that it's part of the recovery process of North America right now is entrepreneurship and people saying, hey, wait a second, I can work from home and I can build a brand. Yes, you can, but there's some basics you can do. But then this sounds like what Famous is doing is saying, no, we can actually even enhance that overall brand experience. And that's what your platform actually does. So let's dig in a little bit about, I guess, your history. I mentioned a little bit at the top of the show. You have a journey. You've been doing business in all facets for quite a while. This is your latest project right now. And I'm always fascinated, why people build what they build. We work for these great companies, and a lot of times I find it's not just, I want to have a SaaS company. I want recurring revenue. That's just my goal. MRR. I don't believe it's just that. I think there's a larger scope or larger scale here, not just I want to make money. I believe I have the technology to do that sort of thing. I think there's more to it than that. So let's dig into it a little bit about what you believe positions you and the team, I guess, to have a couple of things. The desire to want to build this thing. And number two, where did the expertise come from to even want to build this thing?
Famous was initially founded to help designers build web applications. And in fact, the company would actually compete with Canva, Squarespace, Wix, and players like that. What we saw was that it was a natural fit for the e-commerce space, particularly in mobile. I contend when money exchanges hands, there's a lot more voltage taking place. So as good as web dev was, e-commerce with Shopify, even better. And when you look at the team at Famous, executives who have built and grown SaaS startups, and everybody has extensive experience and real passion, Steve, around UX design, creative design, and mobile web development. I think that's what fuels us to continue to do what we do.
Let's dig in a little bit about some use cases. We mentioned a little bit, obviously, with that big 35% lift and stuff like that, but it'd be great if we could walk through a few of them and maybe share a few tactics about, this thing is because there's such a diverse range of entrepreneurs that are listening today. There's people in the early stage, there's people in the mid-market, there's definitely lots of people in the enterprise side and in the Shopify Plus world that are listening today. So it would be great just to understand a few tactics on how you see brands winning today with your solution.
When we talk to customers, they're really citing two common use cases today and a third we see in the future. Let me walk you through that. First of all is how merchants can streamline and simplify their paid marketing campaigns. Sell products in a way that's most appealing to the target audience and increase conversions. So click through the famous pages from social media ads, remarketing campaigns, target product campaigns, influencer promos, things like that. The second way customers tell us they're monetizing with Famous is organic growth. Famous allows merchants to optimize marketing efforts and amp up their conversion rates without a big ad budget. So drive customers to Famous pages through Instagram bio, QR code in your email marketing campaign, sales promotion on the website, simple things like that that are organic and low budget. What we're hearing from customers they want to do in the future is print QR codes and take them on the fly, Famous on the go, if you will, because live events are kind of coming back. So festivals, high-end events, etc., primarily leveraging QR codes to take to live opportunities to meet people. So paid marketing campaigns, organic growth, and soon to be more live events for Famous on the go.
Very cool. I noticed that too. Going to the website, we talk about, you mentioned things like product launches, and there can be a dedicated QR code for that, or even showing a collection of products through that code, or shoppable lookbooks. It's so interesting. Some of the, and I'm sure this is going to keep expanding, but you have it, you scan the QR code with your phone, and then automatically you get this incredible experience built into what that QR code is pointing to on the Famous platform.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And it's funny, as we were market testing this, as we got more and more feedback from customers, we knew we were onto something. And working with Shopify and figuring out what the requirements are in your industry, we're adding more capabilities all the time, getting more ingrained with Shopify, and we're particularly excited.
Your platform very clearly, focuses on the mobile buyer, and I agree with that. I mean, a lot of people have themes that are responsive, and that's certainly a starting point, I think, a necessary starting point for most. But, I think from your perspective, I think there is a mobile-first mindset that I think is very unique about your platform and how you believe you can optimize an e-commerce site. And mobile conversions is super important too. So let's kind of unpack that a bit and just talk about maybe some of the stats and things that you've seen, because obviously you're doubling down on the mobile consumer and the mobile experience. So I just would like to understand your mindset around all of that and how Famous is helping.
I once worked for a CEO who told me, peel the onion back until the data hits you in the face. And the trend with mobile is just, there's no ambiguity on this. I mean, 81% of the traffic and 70% of the orders on Shopify stores come from mobile devices, phones and tablets. Look, if merchants listening to us out there, this is where the majority of your audience shops. So these shoppers are going to be more likely to place value on an easy mobile purchasing process that captures their attention, that's engaging. So our merchant customers who are seeing these 35% sales increases, they get it, that to boost their sales and conversions, they need to follow the consumers into the mobile e-commerce space, Steve.
One thing I noticed too, a lot of brands have shared this with me, is that they find Shopify's accelerated checkout, mobile or not, but the accelerated checkout option and using Shop Pay as their preferred method of payment, because I think the way the Shop Pay works is you press it with either your thumb on mobile or click it on your desktop, and then a 6-digit kind of text message kind of code comes through. With entering that code, all of a sudden, instantly, all the details are populated for address, credit card information. It's just, I guess it's already being saved somewhere. It's encrypted. It imports directly into that checkout experience, and then you submit your order. And I think the conversion lift, from what I understand, is significantly higher than maybe selecting credit card or other different, or PayPal or other methods for checkout. So Shop Pay is an interesting thing. And so you're you're suggesting is that with your platform, you create these incredible customer experiences through mobile, and with this animation, the different types of parallaxy things. It's so interesting. Some of that, it's hard on the podcast to show it. Like we can talk about it. What I'm trying to think about is that if we have, let's say we build a really great landing page, from a social ad, and it comes to this product page, and you've selected the right template, made all the tweaks to it, can the person actually buy directly on the famous page? And is it a buy now button, or is it possible to have a shop pay button, embedded somewhere from within a famous landing page or optimized page?
Okay, you're far more technical than I gave you credit for. I mean to bring my architect on this call to answer that, but let me tell you what I do know. So we have been, to get a product out, look, I joined the company in October of last year, and to get product out quickly and test market famous with Shopify, we did something in 60 days, got it out the door, we were linked to your buy now button. And we got a good number, over 100 customers very, very quickly to give us great market feedback. What we're looking at doing right now, that'll probably be announced as we release this podcast, is deep integration with Shopify. It's the number one request we've had. And as you've talked about, merchant can design on Famous, hit the publish button, and the design goes right under their Shopify store, fully integrated. It's a nice thing. The Shop Pay link, I don't know much about Shop Pay, but I'll make a comment on it. I'm not surprised that you're getting great traction with it, because in the opening of this podcast, my observation from talking to customers and many industry experts is that the market, particularly in Shopify, had focused a lot on what we call the back end, the drop shipping, the payment, campaign management, things like that. And so as you're seeing more and more capability, largely from Shopify, you guys have this great integrated end-to-end solution. We see a credible amount of expertise and technology built on those back-end capabilities. So when we looked at Famous technology, and I was assessing as a new CEO, where can we add some value? Complementing Shopify on the front end, primarily with your themes capability, augmenting that primarily for product launches, promotions, where you really want to stand out and pop for a particular product. You're going to do it for a $300 sweater, not a $6 pair of mittens. We just saw a great opportunity. And the experts we talked to, and later on we met with some Shopify people, all said the same thing. That became the opportunity for us to add value to your ecosystem.
Yeah, I love it. And that's great too. And I'm glad there's these conversations and tight connections with Shopify, at least in the near term, because using Shop Pay, definitely the preferred method for checking out, not to mention the connections now with Affirm doing Shop Pay installments, the kind of micro loan for equal payments. I think that's another interesting opportunity of increasing average order value and taking the risk out, very small, no risk at all to the buyer side, because they just get 4 equal payments, so they increase their average order value. So that's interesting. And then it's very small fee comes from the merchant to be able to give the customer the option to increase their average order value and increase the conversion lift that comes with it. And not to mention even the Shop app that we have, which is incredible. Don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but it's interesting with the Shop app too, because people are downloading, I think it's one of the top 5 apps, I think, on the iTunes store, but people have a dedicated app now to track all of their online purchases are now happening on an app on your phone, but it's a Shopify owned property. And what's great about this for those listening today, if you don't have it activated in your store, turn it on, because what's great about the Shop app too is that then you're allowed to have a curated selection of product from within the app itself physically. So it looks like they all kind of work together. Shopify Payments, which is our gateway, Shop Pay, dedicated accelerated checkout button. You got the Shop Pay installments option, and then pair all that up with the Shop app. It's kind of a good win. And then not to mention now with your platform, you have the visuals to go along with it to really push people over the edge, and let Shopify take care of all the rest. How do you want to pay for it? And do you want an installment option? And we're going to help you track it all the way back to your home. So it's pretty cool. So let's dig into some of the KPIs now, because I think that's important, and there's a ton of them available, and a lot of business outcomes, and e-commerce brand, and they need to consider a lot of things, and they need to experiment and track all of these. And so I'd argue that maybe one of the important metrics is customer engagement. And with your experience, I just would love to pick your brain a bit here, but how do you believe that Shopify merchants can increase their engagement for their store and stand out even more now in as you said, it's a very competitive market with this 1.7 million and growing merchants? How do people stand out and get more engagement?
We see and hear by people we're talking to 4 key things to really stand out and accelerate engagement. Ensure quality design, simplify your mobile site, build creative marketing campaigns, and leverage this trend called social commerce. Let me dig into each of those just a little bit more detail. So ensure quality design, make first impressions count. You wouldn't go to a physical store with, beat up doors and rusty nails and, a shabby furniture. It's about first impressions. So ensure quality design. Make sure the mobile site is appealing and enjoyable and attracts new customers and makes them want to come back and want to engage. Second is really to simplify the site navigation. Make it easy to browse to the site and make a purchase. So things like page loading times, intuitive navigation you get through customer feedback, quick checkout and payment process that you've talked about quite a bit, all crucial aspects to a great customer experience. Third, build creative marketing campaigns. So elevate and promote this new well-designed site. Engage with customers where they are. So social media, in their inbox, searching for products online. And I encourage people, focus on telling a story rather than sell your products. I have a terrific head of marketing. She talks about having conversations with prospects and customers versus pitching products. And that creates engagement and affinity. And then finally, I just love this trend, social commerce. And I've got a lot of people on my team quite a bit younger than me, Steve, and they've really got me my IQ up to speed on this area. But it's amazing the missed opportunities today on the merchant side. So we encourage people, bridge the gap between social commerce or social media and commerce by creating better experiences for shoppers when they click ads on social media and get to your page with content that's relevant and captivating. So again, it's ensure quality design, simplify the navigation, build creative marketing campaigns, and leverage social commerce.
I'm going to make sure I have all of this in the show notes for sure, because I think this is a really, really, really important strategy for those listening today that you'll want to leverage. Once again, people are always trying to figure out how they can get a market advantage. I'd even argue maybe first mover advantage. Because you're so newish in the Shopify world, I think it's an interesting opportunity for those listening today to almost pause this podcast right now or open another screen and go to famous.co and have a look to see the impact that it could have on your brand. It's very interesting. I can guarantee you, as part of my monthly calls that I have with the brands that I manage, because I know I have a book of business that I manage day to day at Shopify, you can guarantee that I'm sharing this podcast recording, and I'm also going to share a link to famous.co to at least have a look and saying, is there value here? Is it worth testing? I believe the answer is yes, because the answer is no. You don't try it. You don't know if it's going to work. And based on the case studies, it clearly does work, and it's a very differentiated look and feel based on all these points that you've made. So I think I just massively appreciate that. So let's talk about the future of the platform. And we're at a certain level now. I kind of prodded you a bit about, hey, is it possible Shop Pay dedicated maybe on a pay instead of maybe the Shopify Buy Now button, which is important through our storefront API. And I think that's incredibly important. I think there's lots of things coming down the pipeline. So are you able to talk a little bit about maybe your North Star for the remainder of 21 and end of the day, just innovation, just how are you going to just continue to offer value and assistance for Shopify brands?
Look, our goal is to continue to empower great design to brands, merchants, and business owners whose stores powered by Shopify. And so we'll continue to make enhancements largely based on customer feedback. What I'm amazed about is the depth and breadth of that Shopify ecosystem. And so we've actually been approached by a number of other players in the play. I'm not going to name them here, but people who are Shopify partners, for us to have a tighter, more direct integration with them. And you can imagine it's largely on the back end, Steve, as we talked about, which is a very robust environment. So look, there's a lot of headroom for us to continue to run on Shopify for many years to come. As we can continue to create more integrations with other players, particularly those focused on Shopify, we have more value to our customers, and there's goodness for everybody.
So any takeaways or that you'd like to leave with the listeners today? I know you've given us a lot of value. At the end of the day, because you're a visual platform, I'm just going to keep directing people to go back and have a look at your website and kind of sign up and at least kick the tires a bit to see what your platform can actually do. But just wanted to throw it back to you just to make sure that we summarize where we're at, what we've learned today, and kind of what our action items moving forward.
Steve, thank you. Yeah, I think there are 3 points I'd like to make. One is it's important to have this mobile-first social commerce mindset. Our customers who enjoy this 35% product sales uptick, they get it. Second, I'll reiterate that the classic basic landing pages are yesterday's technology, do not meet the needs for consumer demands, particularly with all those vendors, the merchants you have now, 1.7 plus and growing. How do you differentiate? And the tools today just don't get you there. And so finally, if I haven't made the point strong enough yet on mobile, let me do with one last soundbite. 70% of all Shopify sales are made on mobile, 30% on desktop. So if a merchant's not optimized for mobile, you lose.
I totally agree with you. So I don't want to waste any more time because I know we need to get people rocking and rolling here. So how can people learn more about your solution? Where can they go?
www.famous.co. Famous.com is a footwear company. We're famous.co. Gives you more background on our capability. I would encourage people download the 7-day free trial. We've got loads of walkthroughs, knowledge base. We've got customer success people ready to help you out. But your audience is going to pick this up real fast. And I can't guarantee you anything, but I'm very confident you'll love the Famous experience.
Yeah, this is lovely. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. One thing that I know you know this, but Shopify really does have a mission, and it really is to make commerce better for everyone. And it seems very clear to me, both you and the Famous team, really are in tight alignment with really wanting to help brands to improve efficiencies, definitely through landing page and just better customer experiences overall. The revenue growth is going to be there. You're building lifetime customer value just based on the fact that you have a higher conversion rate and you have this visual, compelling component to your brand. So I just think that's super exciting. Just thank you for your time, your knowledge, your vision. Just thank you for giving back and really putting your flag in the sand, so to speak, in the Shopify ecosystem. I do appreciate that. And thanks for coming on the show.
Steve, thank you very much. I have one concluding thought. We didn't rehearse this. Our mission statement is very analogous to yours. Our mission statement is that we help customers love their Shopify merchants. So we're in tight alignment.
That's lovely. All right. Well, have yourself a great afternoon.
Thanks, Steve.
Today's episode is brought to you by Vicely, a flexible personalization and search solution for your Shopify business. Hundreds of Shopify brands use Vicely to grow their businesses, convert store visitors into happy, loyal customers with highly relevant product touchpoints throughout the customer's initial and repeat journeys. With seamless Shopify integration, one-to-one personalization, A/B testing, over 20 pre-built and custom widgets, predictive search, dynamic filters, merchandising. Literally everything you need. Best-in-class support. It does it all. Vicely is the perfect solution for efficient e-commerce teams that are focusing on growing the business and not their workload. So start today and find out how Vicely can help accelerate the growth of your Shopify business. Visit Vicely.io or search for Vicely in the Shopify App Store to begin your 14-day free trial. No credit card required. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of E-commerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.